talk to me about Tez Johnson really quick. Despite Oregon wanting some moments back in this game, from that beginning, which was a nightmare start, Tez Johnson had himself a day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was kind of a matchup nightmare for what Cal was trying to do defensively. You know, I kind of pointed out, right, they were trying to play a lot of cover one and trying to friction those slot receivers. And Tez is just a nightmare to try to do that. He's so quick in space. One of the things I liked a lot from him today, you didn't see him dance as much. That's been a problem. He's been kind of an east-west player this year. He needed to be more north-south. He was definitely that today. And he's a dynamic threat in the slot that Oregon hasn't had in quite a while, like maybe since like Jeffrey Mail, somebody like that. I mean, they've had a lot of good kind of outside receivers. Obviously, Troy's having a tremendous season, but, you know, Tez, an incredible day.
And I think it speaks, Tez is kind of a symbol of how the rest of the Ducks worked out today, in the sense that we were talking about this in the newsroom, and it's something that we've mentioned before.
Sure.
Maybe it's a recurring theme here, but you look at previous Oregon teams, especially in the month of November, the Chip Kelly era, the Mark Helfrich era, you look at the Willie Taggart and Mario Cristobal eras, this felt like a game midway through the second quarter. Ducks fans are probably sitting at home going, oh boy, it's November, it feels like it's going off the rails a little bit, will it stay off the rails? Landing teams tend to respond. I mean, you can't count out the Georgia game, but since then, they don't fall apart like that. And in this game, if you looked at the box score and the score, you wouldn't think that this was a game that Cal was in midway through the second quarter.
These are the most frustrating games to coach, right? It's not even really close. You're playing an inferior opponent, you get off to a weird start, some funky things happen, you're dealing with weather, there's all these kind of distractions, right? The first playoff rankings come out. It's really easy for this game to kind of continue to go south throughout the night. But one of the things I think Oregon does really well is this idea of, do you believe things will go okay if you just do your job? And this team really believes that. And they just kind of continually come back to this idea of, right, hey, if we just do what we're supposed to do, we're going to be there in the end, and the right things are going to happen. And I think that's like really a credit. When we talk about that word culture, that's really what it is it's a belief in you and those around you that if you just execute the scheme, if you do what you did in practice, that things will turn out the right way. And I think Oregon did that towards the end of the game today and kind of were able to break through.
With Caleb Williams coming into town next, they're going to see an Oregon State team still. There are a couple games in the middle of November there still. So Oregon will have to kind of continue that trend of making sure to overcome those little mistakes we always say when you're clunkers.
1% better.